What's up guys, you're watching Professional Riches and welcome to a brand new video on how to negotiate in TF2. This video guide can be used in both unusual and normal low tier trading, but for video purposes, unusual trading will be used as an example at the end of the video. So nowadays everyone has their own methods of negotiating. Some people are good, some are bad, and some people are even trying to share and sell their methods to other people. This video was made to give you the complete guide on how to really negotiate, and the information here is based off of economic professors, graduate students, and other businessmen that work professionally and tailored for the TF2 economy. In this video, I'll be introducing these important negotiating topics with an example at the end utilizing all of these methods. Thanks in advance for watching, and let's jump right into it. So part one of the opening and pre-trade is to understand your alternative, and this basically just means to understand and realize the best alternative to a negotiated agreement. So basically, if you make an agreement or you don't make an agreement, what your best alternative is. Now typically in this case, it's just keeping the item or not selling it, or just buying a different item. So by figuring this out, it helps you determine your reservation price, which is basically, in simplest terms, the most you're willing to pay for something and the least you're willing to sell something for. Now by figuring out your reservation price, it gives you a firm resolve and goal. So this gives you confident answers, and it gives you more power on the negotiating table by giving clear, concise, and confident answers. Now between your reservation price and the other trader's reservation price is a negotiating table where basically all the bargaining is being done. After figuring out your best alternative and calculating your reservation price, the next part is to understand your counterpart and the opposing trader. Now, you have to understand his or her interests and motives, why they want to trade, what they want to trade for, and by doing this you can offer, you can give them better offers qualitatively, even if they have the same quantitative value to you. For example, you can give 3 different offers that both total 15 keys each, but if they have different items and they favor different items, they might prefer one offer over another. Now by doing this, you can play into their strengths and weaknesses, and most importantly, you have to put yourself into their shoes to understand what they're really interested in. Now, to figure out what they're really interested in, the process is actually not that hard at all. It's pretty simple, and I'll be showing you guys when I do the live example near the end of the video after all the parts are introduced to you. The final part, or thing that you have to know before going to the negotiation, is you have to know the typical standards for what goes on in the type of deal you're making and the type of items that are typically exchanged. In other words, you have to know what people's goals you're trading with are, and you have to understand what they're interested in and what they're really not interested in. This makes your offer more attractable, negotiable, and professional as well. For example, if you're in unusual trading, you should know that most unusual traders don't really prefer skins or decorated skins, strange skins, unique skins. They don't really like skins unless, even sometimes they don't like unusual skins. So by knowing what people like and what they don't like and what they prefer to accept in trading, this makes your offer more reasonable, and they'll actually feel the need, or they'll see the possibility of negotiating with you. Finally, after all that stuff is out of the way and you understand everything pre-trade, now it's time to jump right into section 2, which is the trade opening, and this is arguably obviously the most important section of the trade when you're actually talking and speaking with the other person. So part 1 of the opening is to open aggressively. Now, I know a lot of people have this fear that by offering first, they might accidentally offer more than the other person's reservation price, so you might pay a little more than you need to, or sell something for a little less than what you could have gotten. However, the truth is the opposite of this, and you might ask me why, but if you think about it from a logical point of view and evidence that's been recently suggested, by settling down an offer first on the table, that offer is used as an anchor price for the rest of the deal. So that basically means that even the most experienced dealers will be influenced by your anchor offer, which is always the first offer, and every preceding offer that comes after that offer is always based on the first offer. So really, whoever sets down the first offer is in control and dictates the path of the rest of the trade. The most important thing about opening with an offer of your own is that you always want to have a good feel of the reservation price of the other trader, and you have to offer just beyond that reservation price. So by that I mean, if you're buying an item, you have to offer what you think is a little less than the minimum they'll take for the item is. And if you're selling an item, offer to sell it for a little more than what you think the maximum they'll pay for it is. Now, basically what this gets the other person to do is the offer isn't out of the question. In fact, it's really closer to the reservation price. So they'll really want to negotiate or find the middle ground so that they get their reservation price and you get the best deal possible. However, like always, there's always the catch and the downside to opening aggressively. And for this, the downside is for the new people or the novices to trading who've just started negotiating and don't really know exactly what the reservation price of the other party is, or they haven't really done the research to try and figure that out. Now, because of this lack of knowledge, you might accidentally offer within the bargaining zone, which is more than the other person's reservation price already. And this quickly becomes a liability in the rest of the trade. For example, if the other trader's goal was to get their reservation price for their item, and you already offer to pay more than their reservation price, their mentality changes from getting the reservation price to just getting the most they can of the item, the most that they can get out of the item, and this results in you losing out on profit. This is why pre-trade it's really important to really do your research on the opponent, doing your research on the type of item, the type of trade, so you can get a really good accurate feel of their reservation price, so you can make a really good offer so the trade goes smoothly for you. Moving on to part 2 of section 2, which is to offer multiple equivalent offers at the same time when you're opening. So by offering up to a maximum of 3 different offers, which all have different items with roughly equivalent value to you, you can further judge the other trader's interest by seeing which offers they're most interested in, and then you can further make offers from there. For example, they might be interested in soldier hats, taunts, specific effects, and stuff like that. You can play into this later on, and not only that, but because you're offering multiple offers, this creates a sense of goodwill of you with the other trader, who will see you as flexible even while you're building your own negotiating agenda. This leads to more negotiating, and they'll be a little more flexible on the prices. The final part of advice that I have for you guys during this episode is part 3, which is responding as a second offer. So, as you guys might have realized by now, if you're not always able to get the first offer in. They might want to offer first. So if you're not able to get in the first offer, the best you can do is stay away from the anchoring effect that the first offer is designed to have and not offer based upon the first offer. So you might be asking, so how am I supposed to offer second then? So my advice is, instead of countering based on the first offer and getting swayed by the initial anchor, just simply counter with your original first offer. However, there is one catch though. If your first offer drastically differs from the anchor, you have to consider changing your offer. For example, changing item types, lightening the mood with a joke, and then simply offering a little later on, or just changing your offer a little bit to suit the other offer's needs. Now, all these strategies will make you seem more flexible, and you can continue working on your own agenda and not getting swayed by the anchor offer that the other trader put down. So now that all of the parts have been introduced, let's do a quick summary and general example right now, so you can get a better understanding of what exactly all this means. So let's go right down the list. So you have to understand your alternative. So let's say you have this 40 key unusual and this 10 key unusual, and you want to trade it for someone else's 52 key unusual, okay? For whatever reason, let's say that's a situation. So understanding your alternative, in this case, it's fairly simple. You can sell your 40 key unusual and your 10 key unusual to scrap.tf or another quick seller, or you can keep the unusual, or the situation that you're in right now is you can trade it to the 52 key unusual. So in this case, you've already understood your alternative and you're pretty set on using those two items, and maybe some extra sweets on the side. So part 2, which is knowing your counterparts. So this can be really easily done by going to the other trader's profile, going to their backpack.tf, scanning their Steam inventory and their TF2 inventory, of course, to see if they collect anything. You can also use forums such as the Steam community forums of backpack.tf or scrap.tf. They might have posted something there, and you can gather if they're collectors of an item or if they're just the normal trader. So say while you're investigating, you also happen to see that they have almost every single taunt in their backpack. So that obviously is a huge signal that they're a taunt collector. So you have to keep this in mind for later on. So part 3 is know the standards. You already have 2 unusuals for 1 unusual. So by trading up 2 lesser value unusuals for 1 a little bit higher price unusual, you do know that you have to add in a little sweet. So you have a few keys extra in sweets that you're willing to add. So section 2, which is opening aggressively. So that person probably wants to sell their 50 key unusual for your 40 key unusual, your 10 key unusual, and let's say 8 keys in sweets. So that's their desired price. So their minimum price is probably 40 key unusual, your 10 key unusual, and 2 keys in sweets. So that's their reservation price. So what you want to do is you want to offer your 2 unusuals and 1 key in sweets for their items. So this is a little under the reservation price, but it's not out of the question. It's not some sort of like low ball or something like that. So after setting down your first offer, you also want to present several other multiple offers. So for example, you can do 40 key unusual, 10 key unusual, 1 key in item sweets, or 40 key unusual, 10 key unusual, around a 17 ref taunt, or you can do 40 key unusual, 10 key unusual, 13 ref pure. So by presenting 3 different offers, you've already gathered that he's a taunt collector, so you have to include that as one of the offers. Pure should always be another offer, so a little less. And then the third offer is just regular items. So by offering those 3 items, you can then judge which one that he's more interested in and negotiate off of there. So for example, let's say he takes the classic taunt method because he's a taunt collector. So he might say you should add 2 keys in taunts. So you already had offered 17 ref in taunts. If he offers 2 keys, then simply bump your price up to a 1 key taunt or something like the box drop or something like that. You can then negotiate from there, and the deal will typically end out how you want it to, with you paying a nice amount for the 52 key unusual, getting it for a discount, and upgrading your unusuals. That is going to be it for today's video, and I understand that could have been a little confusing, so if you do have any questions, do not hesitate to leave a comment down below, and I'll be sure to try to answer it the best that I can and explain any part that you didn't understand. Be sure to comment and like and subscribe if you do like the video. Subscribe for more notifications, and I'll see you guys next time.